Hello, this is J.N.S. and happy Friday. And so today, the topic of our Freaky Friday lecture is Kriya Yoga. Okay, we're going to be talking about Kriya activities in particular. So if you are new to this topic, it is beginner friendly. We're not going to be going into the depths of Kriya Yoga. We'll just be covering some things on the surface level to get your mind percolating, give you some activities that you can do, as well as if you want to go and do further research, you'll be able to do that. And so, this is a very esoteric topic. It's a part of our esoteric studies department in the Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning series that we do. You guys know every Friday we've been doing a Freaky Friday lecture that deals usually with some form of sexual health, sexual spirituality, or family planning. You know, we discuss some family planning issues and whatnot, even things relating to wellness in terms of grooming, all these things. And so, if you are new, that's just what we do every Friday. I do want to preface this with saying that this video is pre recorded. We're doing a stream, but it's pre recorded. I wanted to say that. But nonetheless, the value is still there. And so I want to get straight into the content itself and what a Kriya is and explain a bit more about this topic. So, Kriya is pretty much a mind science that is a part of the Tantra school of thought. It is a part of the divine feminine left hand path, which is Varmachara. Uh, they also have Kriya yoga in some of the esoteric Buddhist teachings, particularly, say, for Buddhists that are familiar with Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara. That's like the female version of Buddha, but some cultures see it as male still. But Avalokiteshvara is like the Buddha within, okay, and it tends to have a very feminine essence, and it deals with in Buddhism, Kriyas deal with the mind, but in the East and in Hinduism, uh, Kriya stands relates more to activity that primes you for your mind science. So it's a physical activity that you do physically that translates into reprogramming or programming your mind. That's what it's intended to do. And so Kriya means action. That's literally what it translates to. And it deals with more of wellness techniques. So again, these are things that help cleanse the body in preparation for a tantra ritual. This could be lovemaking ritual, or this could be a meditation. Actually, it could be a meditation with the divine, a meditation just a simple one with yourself. And so it helps to cleanse the body. It's a Ayurvedic technique, but again, the notion of Kriya yoga or Kriya science it's much deeper than any one pantheon, and so any one particular school of thought, but it does have roots in the Varmachara, which is the divine feminine aspect, or what we would call the left hand path in our esoteric sciences that are not Western based. I have to say there are two different types of left hand path. I don't deal with the Western side, to be quite frank. I deal with the side that is rooted in melanated cosmology, as well as that has its roots on in this earth, as well as in the divine feminine that was created by females, pretty much. And so, Kriya, again, it means action. And so it's meant to enable subtle indirect changes in the body and the mind of you, the practitioner. And it's also sometimes the Kriya, the specific activity, supports a specific body part or an organ, it could be the intestines, the liver, the spinal cord, whatever. And so we'll deal with what I'll give you some activities. Now, if you want to know, like, okay, where can I go to read more about Kriya Yoga myself? What can I, the Bhagavad Gita talks about Kriyas. In particular, the you guys know that the Bhagavad Gita is an epilogue. It's a um, one of the oldest texts in the world, and it is also a heavy mind science. But there's a conversation between Krishna and Prince Arjuna, pretty much detailing the levels of consciousness, life and death, war, good and bad, karma. It's just a conversation, and in that epilogue, you get some really deep. concrete information about spirituality, in different types of ways of approaching the world. You don't have to follow it. It's not like, it's just a conversation between Krishna and Prince Arjuna. It's pretty cool. So Kriya Yoga is mentioned there. It's also mentioned in the Vedas. So if any of you are familiar with the Rig Veda, you can go and look at it in that text as well. Now, again, Kriya Yoga was actually pretty much common knowledge in ancient Eastern culture. So, like in ancient India and Asia, and some parts of Africa, uh, the idea of preparation and purification in certain forms of Kriya meditation was known, but it was eventually like safeguarded. So, there was a lot of priestly secrecy, and so they took it and hid the information, and then they came back out with it. And to be honest, a lot of humans, they weren't really concerned with the like all of this preparation of the cleansing of the body. It's not sexy. You know what I mean? It's not a sexy science. It can be quite boring to some people. So it wasn't as popular. But if you were like in the priesthood, or if you were a guru, or even just a human that was concerned with spirituality, or in studying the esoteric aspects of this science, you would know Kriya, you know. And so there are physical Kriyas, and there are emotional Kriyas, and then there are mental Kriyas, okay? So again, the mental Kriyas tend to be more so with uh, the Buddhists, the Buddhist pantheon. I do have to say that in the physical kriyas, again, it's more so in tantra, and that could consist of mudras, that could consist of bandhas, and bandhas means body life. Okay, bandhas is like a certain things, certain postures that you do with your body. Asanas, that's like yoga. That's also consists of postures, a little bit different than body locks. And then you have pranayama, which is breathing techniques. You have vocalizations, and then you have the Ayurveda, which is the actual medicinal aspects of it. Okay, and so today, the techniques I'm gonna give you, you may be familiar with them, you may not be, but they are techniques of Kriya. Okay, and so the first one that we have here is the neti pot. And so many Black Americans, you should be familiar with a neti pot. Your mom probably used it on you when you was a baby, unfortunately. But in Kriya Yoga, believe it or not, even as an adult, or maybe if you could do it once a month, neti pot is good to clean out the nostrils. This is not personally a practice that I like to do unless like I get a sinus infection, but this is something that is recommended. This is just an example of a kriya. And so the on the Ayurvedic level, it is believed that the kriya of cleansing out the nostrils through a neti pot, it gives you energy and clarity. It's going to remove any pollutants from the nostrils. You know how like your hair collects, the hair in the nose collects bacteria. That's what the hair nose is for, is to kind of trap certain debris before it reaches, for you inhale it rather. And so that's also to cleanse out that aspect of the nose as well. And it prevents colds and flus, and it also eases allergy symptoms. So just a general neti pot that you could buy online, a ceramic one. You boil with water, or you can use warm water. Make sure the water is not boiling to where it burns you, obviously. Okay, and then you add a spoonful or a sea salt. You add a spoonful of sea salt or pink Himalayan salt, and then once it's warm, you lightly blow air out of each nostril. Okay, to see which one is the most blocked. And then you tilt your body slightly forward over your sink, and then you bring the sprout of the neti pot to the nostril that is least blocked. And then you're gonna open your mouth during this process, and then tilt your head down. And then you're gonna pour the water into your nostril so that it comes out the other nostril. Okay, and so it may come out quickly, or it may come out slow, depending on how much debris is blocked up in the nose. But once you're done, you blow out any excess water, and then you do it on the other side. Okay, and so during this process, you may feel a little lightheaded, so you want to take it slow. It's similar to like a brain freeze if it's your first time using it, and you want to breathe through your mouth. Okay, And so, another thing, after you do your neti pot Kriya cleansing, you want to avoid laying down or going into like polluted air or polluted area where there's like smoke and stuff. And so, neti pot is just one way. Again, many of even though this is an ancient Kriya, this has crossed over into American culture. I'm pretty sure Americans, Black Americans were doing this for aeons. Um, I know we don't necessarily use the neti pot. We had like a smaller, like a syringe that we would use. We didn't necessarily fill it with water though. We just use the air method and just blow that stuff out on the other side. So they have the saline, not the saline, the saline syringe and all that. That comes from the East, and so they found the way to monetize it, and sell like them syringes that you can get like Walgreens and stuff. But nonetheless, neti pot is something for you guys. And another one is the oil pulling. I actually enjoy oil pulling. It can be a little messy though. I haven't done it um, in a while, but oil pulling is good. It is really good. So pretty much, it's when you gargle. You know how you gargle mouthwash? You would gargle a very high quality oil that has bacterial, antibacterial components or antiviral components. So that could be obviously coconut oil is a go to. You can use other oils besides coconut, obviously, but I just know coconut is the most famous one, and that's the one that I use. That's the one I have familiarity with the most. I don't have familiarity with other types of oil for oil pulling. So pretty much just how you would use mouthwash, you would use oil pulling. You would not swallow it. You just gargle. Swish it around in your mouth, and it's going to remove the bacteria in the mouth. It prevents issues like cavities, bad breath. It's been done for thousands and thousands of years now. Again, oil pulling is not actually popular in America because we have the American Dentistry Society or American Association, and there's money behind it, so they're going to go with toothpaste, and they want to promote toothbrush and toothpaste because it's corporations that has to profit off of the dental health. But oil pulling was originally it was an original method to brush the teeth. If you guys didn't know that, especially it was common among the East as well as melanated folks, and it's very easy to add to the routine. You know what? A lot of people they use oil pulling and brush their teeth these days. But it is an ancient practice. It's you swish the oil in your mouth to remove the bacteria, right? It's going to cleanse the gums and whatnot, and then you just spit it out. Like you don't want to spit in your sink though, because that oil will build up, right? So you want to, if you got like an empty water bottle, you can put it in a water bottle and throw the water bottle out, or you can use it just spit into the garbage. But some people don't like to spit into a garbage. Maybe you have a special bag or something. You can really take this serious and get like a small little container or something and put a bag in and then do it that way. How get creative, but um, you can swish it in your mouth for 15 to 20 minutes or a minute if you you know don't have a lot of time, but you don't want to swallow it. Okay, you can also use olive oil. Olive oil is also very popular as well as sesame oil, and then you just need about 1 tablespoon in the mouth. Now, again, don't spit it in the toilet or the sink. And then you rinse your mouth with water before eating or drinking anything. Now, you can do this a few times per week. You can start with just 5 minutes. You can go to whole 15, 20 minutes because believe it or not, you guys know that we have that thing underneath our tongues that is like what's it called? Subfuco, where it absorb. You know how like sometimes people put the medicine or something underneath their tongue to get it to absorb good into the bloodstream, right? Quicker, right? And so with the oil pulling, it's the same exact thing. You're swishing it around. It's obviously going to go into that little hole that's underneath your tongue, and it's also going to suck into the membrane, the gums, all of that, all of that mucoscus that the inside of the cheeks it absorbs the tongue. So when you're swishing that oil and you're doing it for like 5 minutes and it's antibacterial, or maybe you use a neem, maybe you use a castor oil, maybe you get real creative and start your research. And again, we're not talking about like, I know people have a issue with seed oil, but um, oil has been used for thousands of years. I'm not saying cook your food with it and put it on your food or anything. I'm just saying like oil pulling. Um, there's even scientific articles about the oil pulling. It's been researched. It's a practice that's been used for thousands of years. And so that's just another Kriya, a very popular Kriya, and that again purifies the body, helps detox the mouth, help detox you out, because all Kriyas are supposed to detox either your physical body or either your mind. It's either a mental Kriya, an emotional Kriya, or a physical Kriya. So the next Kriya that we'll talk about is called Kapalbhati. This is another one that is powerful. I have used it. It is powerful. You can go online and type in Kapalbhati. That's Kapalabhati. Okay. And Kapalbhati is an energizing pranayama. It's a breathing technique. And it's classified as a Kriya because it helps your digestive system. And so it's best practice in the morning before eating and after using like a neti pot. Okay. And so you sit in an upright position. For this one, you're going to have to do more research, like to actually see it on a video. And then you place your hands on the lap, or on your lower abdomen. Okay. And then you inhale deeply. And then using the contractions of your abdomen, you exhale sharply out of the nose. Okay. And so it's like exhaling rapidly. You know how like you are hyperventilating a little bit, but not quite. Okay. You're using the abdomen to push the air out. You inhale, the inhale is natural, but the exhale is kind of like forced. You can repeat that 20 times. Okay. You want to go slow. Now, Kapal means skull and function, and Bati means glow. So that means skull glow or luminosity. Okay. So it's dedicated to the purification of the brain cells, the digestion system. It's an intense breathing technique. And it also removes respiratory blockages from the tracts, and it detoxifies the lymphatic system. So again, you want to dive deeper into Kapalbhati before you try that, but it does work. There are some yogis, I do have to say, that that purport that, you know what, I'm not going to say that, but you know, you guys do your research, and Kapalbhati is a good one. Again, breathing technique, and it means skull and luminosity. So the next one we have is Tirtaka, which is an eye exercise. Okay, so that type of kriya, it promotes good eyesight, and it helps you in developing focus and mental dedication. Okay, so it's performed by freezing the vision on like a particular object. So say you look at a object without blinking your eyes. Okay, now there are two types of Tirtaka kriyas. You can choose from Jatra and Jyoti. And so what you do is you look at an object and you keep your eyes relaxed at all times. Okay. You can also blink the eyes really fast while looking at the object, or moving them from left to right. You can move them from left to right. This is also good, like say the certain facial exercises, if you want to practice anti-aging, they do have some Tridaka. And again, probably going to go behind like a paywall with some of this stuff and actually get on camera and show you some of this stuff with the facial exercise, with the Tritaka and the Kriyas, and how you can combine both, you know. But this leads to secretion of the tear glands. Okay, so it purifies the visual system. And so Tritaka eye exercises are really cool. And that's spelled Trataka. And so next one is Basti, and that is the cleansing of the rectum. And so our abdomen is divided into three parts. You have your upper abdomen, middle abdomen, and lower abdomen. And so the Basti Kriya is to purify the lower abdomen. That includes the pelvic zone and the bladder. And so it's pretty much a yogic enema. That's all it is, to clean out the impurities from the colon. Okay, and I I used to really love. I don't want to get into uh, enemas, but this one is also another favorite of mine. Okay, and so it does cure urinary disorders, digestive flaws, treating irregular bowels, eliminating diseases like, if you have really bad flatulence or something like that. Basti Kriya, it tones the muscles as well in the lower abdomen. And so this is another Ayurvedic technique. Again, you can I know the name says Basti Kriya, but you could just go on Amazon or probably to a store or somewhere and just get you one of them medical grade silicone bags, and you fill it with warm water. You can get really creative. People do coffee. People do. You guys know this. People do put probiotics in there. It gets you could get creative with this. And so if you wanted to know, like, okay, what were the Ayurvedic techniques behind the Basti Kriya, it was to also reduce anxiety, like a restless mind, any type of sleepless disorders, nervous system disorders, hypersensitivity, gout, arthritis. Like, this is what it's believed. Again, this is the Ayurvedic school of thought. And so, in Western science, enema may mean, okay, this is what this is supposed to do. It's just to cleanse out the colon. But again, remember we were talking about last week in the Freaky Friday lecture when we talked about the three gunas and the states of the body. So there's qualitative states of the body relating to like earth, fire, water, and air, and how it affects like certain aspects of your organs. And if things get thrown out of balance, if those elements get thrown out of balance, it may manifest into certain conditions. And so we're dealing with because a lot of these things, if we talk about inflammation and all these, and I, I'm not saying I'm the picture perfect of health, but I do know that it stems from the spiritual first, and then it manifests in the physical. And that's how the Ayurvedic teaches it. That's the only difference between the Ayurvedic and say Western conventional medicine, is that they address the mental aspects of it that manifest on the physical realm. And they so that's what it does. Like if you have anxiety and fear, okay, it's believed if you do the enema, that will cleanse out the colon, that cleanses out that root chakra, that cleanses out that solar plexus, that's related to anxiety, that's related to fear, it's related to nervous system disorders. That's pretty much the Ayurvedic technique. Okay, so again, if you have any hernia or blood pressure, you want to uh, hold off and get medical advice. I'm not telling anybody to do it. I'm just saying do your research on it. If it sounds like something that's interesting to you, you go in and look at it. Many of you already doing enema. You already know. You're doing the enema. You're having your herbal medicine. You have an old blanket and a towel. You have a jar and container. You know, um, that's all you have to do. You guys know. You guys pretty much know how to do that one. That's an easy one. So Black Americans, that's another way. You can also do castor oil too. You don't, if you don't want to put something, stick up your rear end, especially how men get. Well, Black American men, you just do 2 tablespoons of castor oil and water, and you can flush out that way without having to stick up something up your booty. Yeah. And so uh, that is the Kriya. I want to also make sure I talk more about again that mind over matter component that the Kriyas deal with. Again, we talked more about the physical activities you can do, but Kriya helps in developing your mind over matter. Everything is mind over matter. Physical reality is a byproduct of consciousness. So the simulation that you currently see is a simulation of a 3D reality based on a computational algorithm, a computational algorithm of the universe, or a state of consciousness. That's pretty much the simple way to say it. A state of consciousness. And so the Kriyas help you direct your energy in a subtle way to influence yourself and your surroundings. It gets you into a certain vibration. Okay, especially if you're about to have sex, or you're about to have meditation or a prayer, or you just want to be cleansed. You just want to do a detox, you know? And so again, in the Buddhist version of their kriyas, they always focus more on the mental. Okay, and so I wanted to talk about that because everything is mind over matter. The mind rules over matter. And so when you still the mind, that's when you see your reality bend towards your will. Generally speaking, not even generally speaking, it's a fact. When you still the mind, that's when the universe bends. Okay. And so everyone gets there at different levels. And sometimes we may even be inconsistent. But if you practice the Kriya activities that we talked about, it will help you. It'll prime you for your sexual health. That's why we covered it in the Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning Esoteric Studies Department, because uh, again, a lot of you Black Americans, you're getting into spirituality. You're wanting to know more about, you know, mind science, psychological science, from the viewpoint of our melanated cosmology, things that resonate with our heart and soul, with our heart and mind, things that even we can recreate. Now, I'm pretty sure, like, we have Kriyas and that science that's well thought out, but you're going to be coming up with more Kriya activities. Nothing is static. Nothing is static and set in stone. So if something is 6,000 years old, you upgrade the information, you add to the information. That is the way of melanated cosmology. The universe, when you see that spiral in that galaxy, you don't see it just ever. Oh, it stops at one. It goes. It's like a, you know what a spiral looks like. And so it's constantly up. It's not necessarily a upgrade, but it's a balance of internal organization, of balancing out entropy and resonance. That's what the galaxy is doing. And when you see that spiral, and so it's adding information and getting larger, adding information, getting larger, adding information, getting larger, adding data. That's what the galaxy is doing on a microcosmic level. And so as humans, that's what we should be doing as well. And so when it comes to the Kriya, we want to make sure that we are also adding to these things. So, like I say, for instance, when it comes to Black Americans, what are some practices that we like to do? You know, we love bath time. Bath time is very serious. Like, there's like a rumor in Black American culture. It's not even a rumor. It's a running joke that Black American women will use like a comet cleanser and pour it in the bathtub and leave it like it's some seasoning for a couple of hours. And everybody that hear me say this, you will start laughing, because you know your parents did that on Saturday mornings, or you see them take the cleanser and literally spray down the tub like it's a seasoning, and leave it for a couple hours, then go back and clean it like it's a seasoning, like it's marinating or something. And that is a running joke. Like, it's like, I remember that joke went viral on social media. We was just laughing about it. But that's real stuff. Like, that's just what we do. We can see that as a updated form of a Kriya. We may not want to use Comet Cleanser. Maybe we want to use diatomaceous earth, something more natural, but also still cleansing at the same time. That actually will not only cleanse the tub, but leave some residue to when it, or maybe you want to use bentonite clay. We have our own new Kriya now as Black Americans. We got bentonite clay, diatomaceous earth. We put that in our our water, our bath water, and we cleanse our tub with it. You know, things like that that deals with the body. So we have to start thinking more so out of the side of the box when we think about, like, oh, our own rituals for detoxing our bodies. Like, we do so many things as Black Americans. It's not even funny. You know, it's like, you know, is even our rituals with the butter, the oils that we love to put on our face, and how we put the oil, like, on our kids' hair, even the way we part a scalp, starting from the center of the eye, the third eye, going all the way up to the middle of the head. Those are all practices. If you take a comb in the middle of a child's head, and you know, part in the middle, start at that point and then go to the middle. That's, you're touching their third eye. That's you part their head and grease their head. That's a Kriya. It's a detoxing Kriya. Sure it is. And so that's the things I wanted to leave you with, Black Americans. We could talk more about it. And love you guys. Again, it's just pre-recorded, and so it'll stream. And you guys have a great day and have a great weekend as well. I'll see you next week.